Hello, my name is Tanay Tiwari and welcome to Buzz This Week. Messi को कोपा अमेरिका मिल गया, जोकोविच और बार्टी को विंबलडन मिल गया, इटली को यूरोज मिल गया और मिनिस्टर्स को मिल गए उनके पोर्टफोलियो. But have you guys got your dose of weekly cricket news and memes? नहीं right? इसीलिए तो हम आए हैं on the show this week. COVID strike on cricket continues. Ashwin's new team. The white ball struggles feat Australia and Pakistan, and Harqueen Deol wins the internet. COVID यार मेरी एक request है. I mean, every time you think that COVID may now have actually subsided and things would try to be normal, COVID goes like,
Excuse me, brother! Brother, eat her!
otherwise, how else do you explain this? There was such a massive excitement in the build-up to that Sri Lanka versus India series, to watch a new-look Team India, to watch new debutants for India, to see how Sri Lanka bounced back after that tour of England. And now, everything is pushed back. Because first, Sri Lanka's batting coach Grant Flower tested positive for COVID-19, and now their analyst GT Niroshan has as well, which means that the series is now pushed back. The series that was to start on 13th of July now starts on the 18th of July, with the final T20I being played on the 29th of July. Now remember, this comes at the back of COVID cases in that England camp that played against Sri Lanka. There are also COVID cases now appearing in County Championship, where a member from the Kent team tested positive for COVID-19, forcing them to field a second 11 out there. Also, Ireland, who are playing South Africa, had their wicketkeeper Neil Rock testing positive for COVID-19. He's isolating now. COVID, yaar, matlab chal kya raha hai? Every time you think things are getting normal, ये सब हो जाता है. मेरी एक request है, COVID.
अरे तू जा रही?
अगर टाइम का सही यूटिलाइजेशन सीखना है, learn from Ravichandran Ashwin. The Indian cricketers right now are enjoying a much-needed break after that World Test Championship final and before the build-up to that England Test series begins. But not Ravichandran Ashwin. Because while others may be holidaying or enjoying their time off, Ravichandran Ashwin is actually playing cricket. Yes, he joined the Surrey camp to play in the County Championship against Somerset, where he became the first spinner in over 10 years to open the bowling with the new ball in a County Championship game. Also picked up a wicket on the very first day. रविचंद्रन अश्विन ना वो स्टूडेंट है जो एग्जाम से पहले सारी एक्सरसाइजेस लगाता था, ट्यूशन से एक्स्ट्रा क्लासेस लेता था, सारे गाइड्स पढ़ता था, पुराने साल के पेपर भी लगा लेता था. And you know what? Such students were very dangerous. England, I'm just warning you. But which is that other cricketer who fits that same bracket? Hashim Amla? He plays for the same county team as well. And he did something that only Hashim Amla can do. Against Hampshire, Surrey were following on. They resumed the final day at 6-2 and then started the Hashim Amla show. A very different show, a masterclass in defensive batting where he batted for 278 balls to ensure that Surrey don't go down. He held the door against Hampshire and Surrey staved off a defeat. And Twitter had to erupt. Talk of preparations though, Australia and Pakistan didn't seem to have enough. Or maybe exam paper difficult aa gaya tha. Australia, who are playing a bilateral series against the West Indies in T20Is for the first time in 8 years, were behaving like Indian tourists. Matlab, Indian tourists masks bhul jate hain, और Australia kind of forgot the tempo of T20 cricket. In the first T20I, they scored 105 for 4 in the first 10 overs, chasing a smallish target. And then they lost the next 6 wickets for just 19 runs. In the second T20I, of course, the story was very different. DJ Bravo showed just what he's made of and just how much more cricket he has to offer. And then there was Andre Russell, who's coming back into his own as well. This West Indies team, which is 2-0 up against Australia, is putting up a great show and also telling us that we must watch out for them come the T20 World Cup. As for Pakistan and England, they showed all colours of Pakistan. In the first ODI, they were smashed by England. In the second ODI at the Lords, they came out with intent. They induced a collapse, but then they collapsed themselves and are now 0-2 down in the series. She runs, she flies, she holds them catches like gladiators in the skies. Harleen Deol was all things special as she held on to one of the best catches you will ever see in all of cricket. Of course, India lost that game, partly because of DELS and partly because of yet another disappointing performance. But cricket Twitter, when something like that happens, has to lap up. And they lapped up Harqueen Deol in absolute appreciation. In the second T20I though, India stormed back to win the game by 8 runs, inducing an England collapse. The series scoreline now reads England 8 and India 6. It all boils down to that final T20I. Can India win it to level the series, or will England hold their nerves in the final shootout? I mean, the final T20I. Your Buzz challenge this week is keeping in mind the Sri Lanka versus India series. If at all, Shikhar Dhawan decides to rest himself in one of the games, what would your top 3 look like? I would open with Suryakumar Yadav, Devdutt Padikkal, and the third batter would be Nitish Rana. Perhaps Ruturaj Gaikwad at 4. Sounds great, right? What would yours be? Tell us using hashtag Buzz this week on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. You know the drill. Send over. That's all that we have for you on this episode of Buzz This Week. Until next week, remember, it may not be coming home for England, but अगर आप बिना मास्क लगाए पहाड़ों की सैर करेंगे, तो COVID जरूर will come home. Please stay safe.